Morning, dear students. Welcome to another session of English. In today's class, it's of class 10 and we are going to discuss a beautiful poem of Robert Frost. We had already discussed Robert Frost. We had discussed a poem of Fire and Ice. And today's poem is The Dust of Snow. You see, in mathematics, we always study plus into plus gives you plus, and minus into minus again gives you plus. So we know the formula. But when you apply these positives and negatives into our life, we need to go a little deeper. What do I mean by the word deeper? Sometimes negative experiences in our life can bring a positive change. I repeat, negative experiences in our life can always bring a positive change. And this is what Robert Frost is trying to tell us through this small poem, A Dust of Snow. Now, let me give you the background of the poem. What made him write this poem? It was the winter time in the United States of America, and Robert Frost, he lived in New England, that is a part in the US. So it was winter time, and you know how harsh winter is in European countries as well as the US. There were no leaves on the trees. Every field and every plot of land was covered with snow. The trees were barren and they all looked white because of the snow that had fallen on them. Snowflakes were falling and it was chilling, shivering to the bones, as we say. Very, very cold. So the poet was very much upset. You know why he was upset? He wasn't able to do anything useful on that particular day. So he was probably trying to remain in his room. And maybe after some time he came out of his room. And when he came out, he was walking through a small path, or you can say an area where there were many trees. And one of the trees was a hemlock tree. And you must know, in English literature, the hemlock tree is never associated with anything that is good or anything that is positive. It is always associated with bad luck. So he saw a hemlock tree which was covered with snow and a crow sitting on top of that. And again, I tell you, in English literature, the bird crow is never used for anything that is good or anything that is positive. It is considered as a bird of gloom, a bird that brings bad luck, a bird that is associated with ill omen, never a good bird. So there are two things. One is a hemlock tree and the other one is a crow. Crow is black, not a good bird, not a bird that brings good luck. And hemlock tree is a tree which is associated with poison. It's a poisonous tree. So the poet sees a crow sitting on the hemlock tree, and maybe it was trying to take off, or maybe it was trying to balance himself. We do not know. The poet doesn't mention anything about that. But as he was walking under this hemlock tree, the crow shook himself and a lot of snow fell on the body of the poet. Snowflakes were falling. So when the snowflakes were falling on the shoulder or maybe on the body of the poet, it gave him a refreshment. He was fully charged. He became energetic, and all his gloominess, the gloom, the sadness, the sorrow went away from him, and with the new energy, he became energetic and he started to go to his room in order to do whatever he wanted. So, the poet wants to say that small things, a very small incident in life can bring a big change. So it is the small things that we need to focus on, because small things have greater significance. And you see, he has already said that a little thing touches a larger thing, which means a small incident, which is very insignificant, can change your entire life, can change your inner being. So that exactly is the theme of this poem, I would say. And look at these points, they need to be remembered. Good things come in a little measure. The smallest things. Good things always come in little measure. They are not in a great quantity. Best thing in life, or the best things in life, are always for free. You see, a change of mood was brought about in the life of the poet, and the change was brought about by a simple incident. And the incident was that the crow shook the branches of the tree and snow fell on the body of the poet. Let us get into the poem now and discuss some literary devices which are associated with this. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. You see, there are rhyming words: crow, snow, me, and tree. I come back to the stanza once again. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. So here in the first stanza, the poet describes about the incident that happened while he was passing through or passing under the hemlock tree. So the crow, which was sitting on the tree, shook himself, and because of that, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree fell on the body of the poet. The second stanza has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I wrote. I come back, I repeat the stanza. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I wrote. So what is the result of the falling of snow? That is being discussed in the second stanza. What is the result? The falling of snow on the body of the poet brought about a change. It gave him a sense of joy. It changed his mood. He was so pensive in the sense he was very sad. And this falling of snow brought about a sudden change. And because of that sudden change, he became very happy and energetic and saved some part of a day I wrote. What is the meaning of this line? This is very important. Saved some part. So half of the day of the poet's life was gone as a waste. Nothing done, nothing positive done. But the second part of the day was saved in the sense he was able to do something constructive. He was able to do something very useful. He was able to do something positive because of the falling of snow. So half the day was lost, the other half was saved. So that exactly is the meaning of these two stanzas. Now, while we discuss the poem, we must also go through the literary devices, because every poet will definitely have some literary devices in the poem that he writes. So look at the literary devices. Alliteration is the first one. What do you mean by alliteration? The same sound or the same word coming one after the other. They are repeated. Here you see, has given my heart. So here there is H and again there is H. So the H sound is repeated. So when the H sound is repeated, we can call this device as alliteration. Remember, alliteration is a literary device in which you find the same sound or the same word repeated. Here we have the word starting with H, has and heart. Coming to the next point, the next literary device is inversion. I'll give you a small example for inversion. I say, I love Ramcharitamanas. That's a religious book. I love Ramcharitamanas. This is one statement. But the same statement can be said in another way. Ramcharitamanas, I love. The meaning is the same, but the arrangement of words is different. This sort of arrangement is known as inversion. Now, how is inversion applied here? Shook down on me the dust of snow. It should be the dust of snow was shook down on me. So instead of saying that, the poet says, shook down on me the dust of snow. So the order of the words, they are written in an inverse manner. They are written in the opposite manner. So we can call this as an inversion. And then assonance. Another important literary device in this poem is assonance. What do you mean by assonance? When the vowel sound is repeated. When the vowel sound in a line is repeated, we can call this literary device as assonance. You see, shook down. So the O sound is repeated. Shook down. It has the O sound, both of them, and it is repeated. Therefore, this literary device is definitely assonance. And then one more important literary device to be discussed in this poem is synecdoche. This might be a new literary device for most of the students, but it's very easy to understand. What is synecdoche? It means when a part represents the whole, it is known to be synecdoche. For example, look here. Has given my heart. The first line of the second stanza, the poet says, has given my heart. So heart here does not represent, or it does not literally mean your heart. It means your whole body. So the whole body is represented by a single part, that is heart. If I could give another example, give us today our daily bread. When we pray, we use this word, the Christians. Give us today our daily bread. So what do you mean by bread? It is not the literal bread. It means food. So a part represents the whole. If you want me to give another example, that would be bench. For example, when a group of judges are sitting, that is known as the bench. So it's not the literal bench that we're talking about. It is a group of judges. So when a part represents the whole, we can call it as synecdoche. Now before I wind up, I would like to end up with one more point, and that is symbolism. Frost is always known for using symbols in his poem. He is known for symbolism. And what is the symbolism here? The crow and the hemlock tree. These are the two objects which are being used as symbols. Therefore, you can call them as symbolism. He represents a point by using certain symbols. So symbolism is definitely used. I hope you might have got a clear idea about the poem. Remember, a little thing touches a larger thing, and small things can bring a great change in one's life. Nature can do that. So before we wind up, let me kind of give you one question to reflect upon. That is, the poet has used crow and the hemlock tree. Crow is not a lucky bird. He could have used some other birds like the robin or the parrot or the nightingale or the swallow. But instead of all those birds, he has chosen an unlucky bird, that is crow, which is black in color. In the same manner, he could have chosen any other tree except the hemlock. He could have chosen the oak tree or a pine tree or a cedar tree, but instead of using all those, he has gone for a tree which is poisonous in nature. Why does he do that? If you had listened to my presentation in the beginning itself, you would have been able to answer this. Think over this, and we will discuss the rest of the points in another session. Till then, take care and goodbye.